Uri is king of Judah. In the 27th year of Jeroboam, king of Israel, Uzziah, the son of Amaziah, king of Judah, became king. He was 16 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jecholiah of Jerusalem, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to everything his father Amaziah had done, except that he did not remove any of the high places. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense on the high places. Then the Lord touched the king, and he was a leper to the day of his death. He reigned in a house isolated from all others. Concerning matters of the household, Jotham, the son of the king, judged the people of Israel. Now, the rest of the acts of Uzzah and everything he did, are these not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? So Uzziah rested with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. Then Jotham, his son, reigned in his place. Zechariah is king of Israel. In the 38th year of Uzziah, king of Judah, Zechariah, the son of Jeroboam, ruled over Israel in Samaria for 6 months. And he did evil in the eyes of the Lord, as his fathers had done. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who led Israel to sin. Then Shallum, the son of Jabesh, and Kiblam conspired against him. They struck and killed him, and Shallum ruled in his place. Now, the rest of the acts of Zechariah. Indeed, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. This was the word of the Lord which he spoke to Jehu, saying, Your sons shall sit on the throne of Israel to the fourth generation. And so it was. Shallum is king of Israel. Shallum, the son of Jabesh, became king in the 39th year of Uzziah, king of Judah. And Shallum ruled for a month in Samaria. For Menahem, the son of Gad, went up from Tirzah and came to Samaria. He struck Shallum, the son of Jabesh, in Samaria and killed him. Now, the rest of the acts of Shallum and the conspiracy he led, indeed, they are written in the book of Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Then Menahem attacked Tirzah. All who were there and in the extended area of Tirzah, because they did not open their gates to him. There he ripped open all the women who were with child. Menahem is king of Israel. In the 39th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Menahem, the son of Gadi, became king over Israel and ruled for 10 years in Samaria. And he did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not depart from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. In his days, Pul, king of Assyria, came against the land, and Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver. So his hand would be with him. This money Menahem exacted from Israel, 50 shekels of silver, each from all the very wealthy, as tribute to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back, and he did not remain in the land. Now, the rest of the acts of Menahem and everything he did, are these not written in the book of Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? So Menahem rested with his fathers. Then Pekahiah, his son, reigned in his place. Pekahiah is king of Israel. In the 50th year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekahiah, the son of Menahem, became king over Israel and Samaria and ruled for 2 years. And he did evil in the eyes of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin. Then Pekah, the son of Remaliah, his officer, along with Argob and Area conspired against him and attacked him in Samaria, in the citadel of the king's house. With him were 50 men and 40 with him were 50 men of the 400. Pekah killed him and became king in his place. Now the rest of the acts of Pekah and everything he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Pekah is king of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah, king of Judah, Pekah, the son of Remaliah, became king over Israel and Samaria and ruled for 20 years. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord and did not depart from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who led Israel to sin. In these days of Pekah, king of Israel, Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria, came and captured Ijon, Abel Beth Makkah, Jonah, Kadesh, Hazor, Gilead, and Galilee. The entire land of Naphtali, he exiled the people to Assyria. Then Hoshea, the son of Elah, led a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and struck and killed him. He became king in his place in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzziah. Now, the rest of the acts of Pekah and everything he did are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. Jotham is king of Judah. In the 2nd year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, Jotham, the son of Uzziah, became king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to everything his father Uzziah had done. However, he did not remove the high places. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense on the high places. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord. Now, the rest of the acts of Jotham and everything he did, are these not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? In these days, the Lord began to send Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, against Judah. So Jotham rested with his fathers and was buried with them in the city of David. His father Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. Ahaz is king of Judah. In the 70th year, in the 17th year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, Ahaz, the son of Jotham, became king of Judah. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he ruled for 16 years in Jerusalem. He did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord his God, and he was not faithful as was his father David, but he walked in the way of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, king of Israel. Indeed, he made his son pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the nations whom the Lord has cast out before the sons of Israel. And he sacrificed and burned incense on the high places, on the hills, and under every tree growing in the woods. Then Rezin, king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to make war. They began to besiege Ahaz, but they could not sustain the war. At that time, Rezin, king of Syria, returned Elath to Syria and drove the men of Judah from Elath. Then the Edomites went to Elath, where they continue to dwell to this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria, saying, I am your servant and your son. Come up and save me from the hand of the king of Syria and from the hand of the king of Israel. They have risen up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and gold found in the treasuries of the house of the Lord and the house of the king and delivered it as a gift to the king. So the king of Syria heeded him, and he went up against Damascus and took it. He removed the inhabitants and killed Rezin. Now, King Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tilgath-Pileser, king of Assyria. There in Damascus, he saw an altar, and King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the design of the altar and its pattern, according to all its workmanship. Then Urijah the priest built an altar according to the design plans King Ahaz sent from Damascus. When the king saw the altar, he went up to it and offered his burnt offering on it, and he sacrificed his sacrifice and his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offerings on the altar. He also relocated the bronze altar, which was before the Lord, forward from between the new altar and the house of the Lord. He put it on the north side of the new altar. Then King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, on the large altar, offer the morning burnt offering, the evening sacrifice, the king's whole burnt offering with his sacrifice, and the whole burnt offering of all the people with their sacrifice, and their drink offerings. And sprinkle on it all the blood of the burnt offering and all the blood of the sacrifice. The bronze altar shall be mine for the early morning. And Urijah the priest did everything King Ahaz commanded. Then King Ahaz cut off the embossments of the bases and removed the layers from them. He took down the sea from the bronze oxen under it and put it on a stone base. And he built the foundation for the throne in the house of the Lord. And he brought the king's entrance back into the house of the Lord, which had been outside because of the king of Assyria. And the rest of the acts of Ahaz, even all he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? So Ahaz rested with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. His son Hezekiah reigned in his place. Notes from the previous page. 14, 26, 27. Though Israel had turned from the Lord and became bitter, nonetheless, he kept his promise to never blot them out. Similarly, the Lord has promised his church, I am always with you. Matthew 28:20. 15, 1 through 5. Uzziah, contemporary of the prophet Isaiah 6:1, was arrogant in his self-rule and brought upon himself the wrath of the Lord, who struck him with leprosy. 15:20. Menahem is an evil king who uses money as a means to keep the enemy from striking, but Israel's destruction is imminent. In contrast, the Lord Jesus Christ, the righteous king, gives himself as a ransom to save mankind. Matthew 20:28, thereby crushing the head of his enemy, Satan. 15:30, through conspiracy and murder, Hoshea fulfilled his desire to become king over Israel. 9:14, 11:1, 14, 12, 21, 14, 19, 15, 10, 25. He was the last king to reign in Israel. 16, 1 through 20. Ahaz, the king of Judah, would openly turn his back on both God and Israel in order to form an alliance with a known enemy of God and his people, the king of Assyria. He took treasure from the house of the Lord and compromised its altar and its priest.